Okay, so I'm going to give this a minute before I actually get into anything to give a couple people a chance to, hop in and also to see why my bird has suddenly started screaming his head off. Everyone else should be good. Dog was just out to pee. He's got food. He's got a new toy. He's been run around as much as he can be in 30 below weather, which probably means he's going to want to be in my lap in like 5 minutes. But go check on the bird, and then we'll start with this fun that is most certain to piss Lucas off, and that's just my favorite thing to do. What you want, Gus? Huh? What's up? What's up? What do you make soup? You know, if you don't want food in your water, you should have put food in your water. When you put food in your water, then you get food in your water, and then you get mad that there's food in your water. But you kind of did it to yourself, bud. The old bird was mad for his usual reasons. He makes soup in his main water dish and then gets mad that there's food in it and he can't bathe in it because there's food in it. He's an old bird. So, pretty much what kicked this one off is that during the last stream, we had kind of gone over these same screenshots, the ones where Lucas admits to being a pedophile. um, and it started, interestingly enough, when I got a share of that broadcast, and Lucas decided to, rear his fat, ugly head. What a shocker there. So, essentially, so essentially what had happened was Dragnot had shared my last stream entitled it, Wernology exposes Lucas Werner for his attraction towards underage girls with receipts. Now, of course, Lucas couldn't fucking let that go, and he has to call it a lie because he's Lucas and he doesn't realize that there are receipts. These are probably a bit hard to read just because screens are screens. Yeah, I know I did. I didn't want to get nailed by YouTube. He's a pedophile. But basically, I'll post links to bigger versions of these where they're easier to actually read later on. So this was the comment chain with Lucas on the post that Dragnot had made. And Lucas says, Dragnot, you can't just lie about people. Somebody else says, free country man. And then, can we guess who Owls More Owls is? I'm sure I'll get blocked after this one. But says, Lucas, there are screenshots from your own Facebook page in that video. The only one lying here is you. And hello. So Lucas comes back with, I haven't used Facebook in about a year. My ideal chick is around 21. You really need to stop this game you're playing. So I'm doing okay. So this is a thing that Lucas does if you're not familiar with how Lucas argues or debates. He will never approach a subject directly. So the original said, hey, there's proof, receipts, screenshots, whatever. And Lucas's defense to that is not to directly confront it, but to say, I don't use Facebook anymore. That doesn't mean anything. It means you don't use Facebook anymore. So I said, you're really bad at deflecting. Oh, great. I took the screenshot of the thing not explained. Anyway, you're really great at deflecting. Those posts were things that you posted on your own Facebook. Whether you use Facebook now is irrelevant. You posted those things to your Facebook, and you're here trying to pretend that you didn't. Let me just kind of make that bigger over here because my dumbass screenshotted the one where it wasn't. And said, nobody believes you. The proof is right there. Lucas responds, I think you mean Instagram. Again, he's deflecting. And these are political memes. Again, not directly confronting the topic at hand. They have nothing to do with click attack. Nobody, well, technically I was mentioned, is even talking about, which is typical of click attack. Again, he's ignoring the subject at hand, which is that he posted admitting to be a pedophile. So I posted again, said, wrong. The screenshots are from your Facebook with the URLs visible. You admitted multiple times to being a non-offending pedo. You can try to deflect all you want, but the receipts are there in that video. Those were your words posted by you onto your Facebook, and instead of denying it, you just seem to think that I don't use Facebook anymore means it's false. It's not. You posted those things, you admitted to it, no matter how much you try to deflect, anyone can see the proof in the video. Nothing you can say or do can change that objective fact. Plus, there's video of you out there trying to lure a 17-year-old child. I think I'm reading ahead of myself. Oh, yeah. So how are you trying to do a 17-year-old child? Just in case your Swiss cheese brain forgot that, here's the link. And I linked to a video of screenshots of him actually trying to lure an actual 17-year-old out. So you can block and deny it all you want, but the proof is, you put the proof out there yourself. And then it continues a little bit. If I can get this dang thing to cooperate with me. So then he replies and plays dumb. Says, what are you talking about? Bullshit, Lucas. We all know that you know what we're talking about. Dragnet comes in saying it was a description of what was being presented. You can dispute the claims, but the evidence was shown, Lucas. And Lucas says, are you sure those aren't just a bunch of political memes? Again, he's trying to deflect. Yeah, it was kind of awful when I was doing tests of stuff last night, and it was kind of awful too. So then I replied to him and said, we're sure. The video contains screenshots of your own Facebook in which you admit to being a non-offending pedophile and trying to trade Adderall to get a girl. There's proof in your own words, and playing dumb doesn't make it not true. So again, he tries to deflect one more time. Says, why do you trust capitalism, which is run by predatory billionaire classes as they exploit workers, destroy the natural environment, and rape kids? And, sweetheart, you're deflecting. Capitalism and billionaires have nothing to do with you admitting to wanting to diddle kids. Stay on topic. You can't deny what you've admitted to. The receipts are in that video. And he either blocked me or he didn't reply after that. I'm not actually sure which. So I figured so Lucas doesn't have to sit through one of my long-ass live streams, I'd just do a nice little short one. Yeah, that's one of my other accounts. He doesn't have that one. Well, he probably is going to block it now if he hasn't already. So we'll just go over those screenshots that we went over towards the end of the stream last night, so he doesn't have to sit through an hour and some god-awful minutes of us making fun of his memes to see where he admitted he's a pedophile. And I guarantee he will still deny. He'll claim that I made these up, that his roommate posted them, or he will just start talking about, well, what about, because he's a fucking moron. Oh, this is his long bad rant history. I put these in order of date. Oh, but he does actually talk about kids. So let's go into this one. So this one was posted about 4 years ago. So that would be 4 years ago last year. So about 2015. And Lucas says, I have a bad rent history. I was kicked out of one place for posting on my door. I couldn't afford internet or even a bed and saw no hope of improvement in sight, spelled wrong. I was extremely depressed, and Facebook has always been my showcase for writing, and before that, MySpace. I would love to see his MySpace page. After I got out of the mental hospital in 2006. I credit social media for saving me from mental hospitalization for the past close to a decade. I've always been drawn to helping others. The last place before the lesbians skipped out and stranded me so they could have a place while I'm currently on the streets was a place my parents used to own. I helped some quote-unquote Christians by loaning them my bed where they fucked all the time. Jaden laid around all day. She worked. Did she work or did she lay around all day? Whenever they were with each other, they argued loudly or had loud sex. Sometimes my heart was gotten me into trouble. If you want to talk about a guy who thought he was entitled to pussy, it would be Jason Perva. The guy who has no respect for others and frequently would get in my face and do weird things around me, like twerk when I needed to concentrate on my writing or studying. He stole from me and constantly lied about hooking me up one day. If you look on the farms, actually, Jason Perva allegedly came in and cleared all this stuff up, and of course Lucas is lying about everything. Shocker. It became pretty obvious that he was a liar because he hooking me up would have left him without a bed. We argued loudly and constantly and he brought his friends over, one of whom fucked a girl in my bathroom in the adjacent manager's garage. Okay. Eventually, I got kicked out for the constant traffic. I tried to get rid of him several times, but the fact is, he was 25, many of his friends were 16 to 17, and he constantly called me a rapey pedophile, even though I turned down his 16 to 17-year-old female friends all the time. The irony. Yeah, the thing with, perfect on family members, but the thing with Jason Purvis, he basically came in and just, refuted all of this with actual proof, so of course Lucas didn't say anything about it. The irony is I could have hooked up with one of them because the age of consent here is 16. Wrong, you are over 21. But Jason was telling me it was 18, while at the same time his 16-year-old friends were fucking them. Okay, 16 and 18 is legal. That's within the age of consent. to get to me, into my mind, to break the law so that he would have dirt on me. I didn't because I falsely thought the age of consent was 18. So basically, the only thing that stopped him was he thought he would get in legal trouble. So I kept my distance, knowing in my mind that they were too young, despite being wrong about it. Well, actually, weren't wrong about it, but oh god, yeah, the stupid meeple toss when he would just like sit in the commons area. And then this is where he was staying in Spokane. This is when he had MRSA. This has nothing to do with him admitting to being a pedo. More MRSA. Hey, again, Lucas, if you want to deny you had MRSA, in the Spokane Coeur d'Alene area hospital, almost to nominal health, having a MRSA infection treated. You have MRSA. And that's his work drive. So this is the one where we kind of get started with him talking about being into younger women and then like freaking out. So all the girls who aren't into you, they're instantly bigots, hateful millennials for doing so. I've never dated young women. Stop belittling me. Apparently millennials only date millennials. And then this guy says, just saying not taking no for an answer is pretty rapey. And then Lucas gets all, I thought you were on my side. Now I feel threatened. Like, no. Let's see. This is just him talking about how he wants to get out. Here's where he wanted to try to trade Adderall to get laid. So I've met young liberal dudes on psych meds, and they give us a bad reputation. All they do is trade meds for sex. I was much less functional on drugs you don't even know. Try Adderall. There's some underground bullshit you don't even know about. I could do that. I have a card. Could get it. Could subsequently trade it for pussy. And there were deleted comments in here, but basically he just says Adderall for pussy. So he was basically trying to use his Provider One card to get an Adderall prescription to get women to agree to drugs for sex. Yeah, MySpace in general was boring, but Lucas's was probably terrible. This was around the time I think he was calling himself a wizard still. This is where he just like bitches about the lesbians. I don't know why he's mad about lesbians here, but that's just Lucas being weirdly transphobic. Oh, why did I keep a picture of that? Sorry, you get to look at Lucas's flabby tits. I don't deserve young hotties. Yeah, the hell you don't. I agree. You do not. You do not. Not with a body like that. Titties flopping in the wind. So here this is not the part to pay attention here where he says 16 is a little young for me. Honestly, I know how to get 16-year-old girls to fall in love with me, which means he's done it. He's tried. And this here's just here bitching about God, Lucas being weirdly racist. Here's where he says he needs physical attentions of hot young females 24 hours a day, 365 days a year because he hasn't been laid for 3 years. Cool. And here we go. Younger women have begun throwing themselves at me recently. Much younger, trying to distract them by being nerdy. It's working. And then here he said, most of you know I have a 17-year-old friend who was a gorgeous young girl that I was falling in love with, so underage. And I said, we weren't sleeping together, but I really love this girl. I still love her. She blocked me. I have no idea why. Again, he targeted a minor. Here's his foot fetish. Lucas, you want to deny you have a foot fetish? Because literally on your Facebook, you just said, have you ever seen younger women's feet? Oh my God, those toes are cute. I don't know how y'all don't look in the mirror and come all day. Dude has a foot fetish. Him being a creep for babysitting. And this is one that, this is something that somebody who was not into little kids would not say. Oh, he's definitely trying to shift the narrative. He's trying to deflect. That's what he does. So this was the one where he said his parents have told him in the past that others screaming around me is a problem, like little girls. Now, when you say little girls, someone who says little girls does not mean like teenagers. Someone who says little girls means someone under 12. If it's a problem, talk to every little girl around me within a mile radius and convince them to stop screaming. I do not control the phenomenon or questionable actions of others. If it bothers you, put me in a faraway location in comfortable living conditions other than an apartment, in a fully furnished house that you pay for yourself. because it's the only other way to deal with this is the fact that young people have gotten excited around me since the day I was born, roll with the idea it isn't going to stop or kill me, which you can't do because that would be a major human rights violation. I cannot control them. They choose their actions. So he's blaming children for his sexual advances towards them. They're fans. Of course they are. But this is a comment. I mean, you see this on like the old TCAP things as well. They blame the girl. They blame the child. Well, she started it. She was flirting with me. You're the fucking adult. This is his old. This is not his number anymore. Don't actually text that number. And this one here, he wants a teen porn star. And notice he doesn't say like barely legal. And I mean, you know, in legit porn, they're all going to be 18. They do ID them. But he's specifically looking for somebody who looks like a teen porn star. Okay. And then this one, he mentions it again. And then, yeah. Like here, he says to this girl who's clearly trolling him, says, I'm not a teen porn star level hottie. If you build a time machine, make it look like the TARDIS. And he comes back with, Ava, I'd hit you with my beam so quick you'd feel it in kindergarten. Again, that is not something someone who is not into the idea of fucking children would say, even as a joke. That's not even an edgy joke. That's just disgusting. Plenty of fish being humiliated. And then we have this one straight up here. So this is from, and you can see the address up here. This is still posted. If you're friends with him on Facebook and you go to this URL, this post is still there. So on December 31st, 2014, Lucas Werner said, and this is a full exact quote, if there is a God, why did he make me a 35-year-old pedophile that's never committed the aforementioned act? Bad grammar. I want are the continuance of hookups from hot 18-year-old females. That's it. Okay. Now, he could try to claim that's a joke, but nobody would make a joke that, why did you make me a pedophile who's never committed the act? You just admitted to being a pedophile. Right there, the actual word. Oh, this is here. This is from his old webpage, too. Where he was being confronted a lot with being a pedophile, so he was trying to backpedal and saying that pedophilia doesn't interest him, but he couldn't leave it at that. Kids don't produce enough progesterone or testosterone to be good for an aging immune system. That is allegedly his reason for not wanting to fuck kids. And then he says rape is no fun, they struggle. Yeah. And then we got here from my April 22nd, 2013. Again, this URL is still valid. It still works. I actually checked the page out. It is still up. I think I'm a straight closet pedophile. And then somebody comments, and with that, you're no longer in the closet. And then he says, barely legal. I'll take it. Maybe it'll suck. So right here, straight up admits that he's a closet pedophile. And then I used to hang out with high school girls. Some of them were like 15. You can't touch them. That's a major issue in this day. It's not like I'm not presented with the opportunities to be a pedophile. Again, if you are not a pedophile, that is not a thought that will cross your mind. I have never been around children and thought, wow, there are so many potential opportunities for me to fuck a child here. No normal person thinks that. Nobody who is not a pedophile has this line of thinking. And he can probably come back and claim that a friend posted it as a joke, or a roommate posted it as a joke, or it's dark humor that we didn't get it. But the fact is, nobody who is not a pedophile says things like this or admits to things like this. And Lucas, because I know you're going to watch this, it doesn't matter if other people out there are pedophiles. It doesn't matter if there are billionaires who are pedophiles. It doesn't matter what they're doing. What we're talking about here, sweetheart, is you admitting 3 times at minimum that you are a pedophile, non-offending, but still a pedophile. And then admitting that, you wanted to trade Adderall for sex, which is not legal to do with your Provider One card. Let me see if there was another one. Yeah, just the teen porn star level hottie nonsense. Lacey was someone who catfished him. So yeah, there's all the times Lucas admitted to being a pedophile. Right there. We're gonna put this one up here again because this is he straight up admits it. We'll leave that just sitting right there to sink in because we know Lucas is gonna watch it later. And then straight closet. So he considers himself a non-offending pedophile. But if he thought he could get away with it, if he could catch someone and he thought he would get away with it, that stems from, so on the last Golden podcast or Golden USB podcast, he mentioned to Jeremiah that 4-year-olds came up to him at the playground and said they wanted to fuck him. And when Jeremiah responded with basically, dude, that's really weird. If that happened at all, that is messed up, and you probably should have contacted like CPS or something, because usually when kids act that way, somebody's already abusing them. And Lucas was flabbergasted that this guy wasn't impressed and didn't think that was great. And then he had to backpedal a lot. He was like, well, no. I mean, I don't want to have sex with the 4-year-olds. I mean, they were just saying I was sexy, and it's probably their parents, and they're watching porn. And 4-year-olds watch porn all the time. First of all, who says 4-year-olds watch porn all the time unless you think about 4-year-olds watching porn all the time, Lucas? So yeah, these are things that Lucas has admitted to. Like pretty much everyone watching here already knew that. But I like to embarrass him. He deserves it. He's stuck in a zoo with no enrichment. He was complaining on Instagram that it's basically like being stuck in a cage with no enrichment. Yeah, I wouldn't keep my animals that way, but Lucas doesn't count.